The people that I've trained so far, and on the sales front, they're all free batches. I don't take a penny or a rupee from anyone for training these people. It's just out of my own thought of helping out young people who want to shift into the IT sales, because most of them don't know where to start and how to start.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back again on a new episode of SaaS Talk. Today we are going to talk a very special guest, and he is kind of very excited and very experienced in SaaS sales. He have 12 years of experience, and we are going to talk lots of thing, and I'm going to ask lots of thing and lots of questions. Here we are. Hello, welcome Raja.
Thank you, Pratik. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to speak with you on this.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving your time. And, this is going to be very helpful to all our viewers. So, just wanted to start. I just wanted to know what kind of feedback and what kind of suggestion you have for freshers.
So for freshers or who wants to make the career in SaaS or IT sales, I would say have patience. I know that they come in with a lot of confidence, and sometimes might I add overconfidence that they can achieve anything. Yes, definitely you can achieve anything as long as you put in the right efforts at the right time in the right way. Just that the patience is the key here, because Rome was not built in a day. It will take time for you to understand how the industry works, how the service lines work, how the products work. So if you're going for a product, there's something called an MVP, and then there's an MSP. So there are a lot of factors in the sales industry and a lot of uncontrolled variables which you need to understand first to make the wind blow in your direction, right? So until it's not that you won't be able to generate some good leads in the initial stages of your career, but the point is to keep learning and not getting disappointed when you don't understand something, right? So have patience. Don't try to learn everything in a day. Don't get overwhelmed or don't get underwhelmed. Take it slow. You still have time. There's a lot of time for you guys to learn and understand. It will all come to you. Don't get disappointed at failure, and don't get overexcited at success. But from a professional direction, I would say the best advice is that keep researching. For a salesperson, it's always important to research what you're selling. So if you're into service lines and you're selling a kind of AI/ML services, artificial intelligence, special language, you need to know the ins and outs of AI/ML before you pick up your phone and dial a customer. Because if he asks any question in that, I know we always have a technical pre-sales team who will help you out at the end of the day. But for you to catch the interest of the customer, you should be at least knowing the basics to spark that interest in the customer and to get him on the call. From there, the team will take it forward. But you need to have the basic understanding. So again, this all comes with experience. This all comes with your own research, your own learnings. So you expect everyone to give you all the one pages or the all the decks, all the flyers. Trust me, you won't learn anything. It will just be like the books that you read in your 10th or inter or plus one and
Now, just for viewers' point of view, I just wanted to know how you started in that SaaS sales, just after completing your BTech in CS.
Yeah, so after my completion of BTech in computer science, which is essentially IT background, and I've been speaking with a couple of people, my seniors predominantly, and they were telling me about their experience as developers, but most of them didn't move into a senior role of at least until the next 10 years. So eventually, I believe to grow in the company, which should be the best technical stack. Is it a technical stack or an operational stack into which we need to move? And that's when I ran into one of my friends who's a senior sales guy. He had a brother who was a senior salesperson, and he made me understand why sales is important to you or me as a person. And if you want to grow in the company, you want to lead a company, because starting my own company was something of a dream for me from a very long time, even before I started my engineering, for that matter. So that's how I landed in sales. It's been a long journey, but yeah, we'll definitely speak about it on this call.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. One more thing. Okay, okay. I have also seen your profile, and I've also seen that you have trained so many people, especially in sales. So, how many people you have trained so far, and what do you focus mostly while training? Is especially in freshers. Is there any kind of skill? Is there any kind of attitude? What? you focus mostly?
Right. So essentially, I have trained more than 60 people so far. And the main takeaway, I wouldn't say I'm the perfect guy in terms of the sales training and everything, because someone who thinks that they're perfect is, just stuck there. They can't grow anymore. So I'm still learning myself in sales. What are the tips and tricks, how to train people more nicely, and how to get more sales leads into the funnel. So all this is a continuous learning. And someone who doesn't do that is stuck there. Having said that, yes, I've trained more than 60 people and 60 plus odd, and I'm still in the process of onboarding a new batch. The main challenge that I see with the freshers is the attitude of selling. When I say attitude, there's a thin line between the attitude and ego. So I hope everyone listening this understands the term ego. And when I say you take your ego into the job, then it's not it won't be a long road for you. You'll come out very quickly. So, but keeping that attitude and having that uh, go-getter attitude for yourself, while whatever position you're in, you be a developer, you be in sales, you be in operations, whatever it might be. If you don't have that go-getter attitude, it's not going to work. So basically, the thing that we need to understand is when you have that go-getter attitude, the can-do attitude, the not giving up attitude, that's all that will make the difference. Skills, yes, definitely, it can be taught, but attitude cannot be taught. And I say this to everyone that no one's attitude is by birth. Attitude is built up over a time. It is made. So it's not that an introvert cannot have a sales attitude or an extrovert cannot have a sales attitude, but both of them can have ego. So the more you leave your ego outside the office steps or while you're logging in into your computer, it will make all the difference. And more than anything, I tell my salespeople or the batches that I train, listening skills are very, very important, and stakeholder management is the next key component. So you have to maintain that balance in between, where you can help out the internal stakeholders and also the clients that you're working with, and get into a win-win situation, because you have to work with both, right? So a salesperson is basically the root of the company, because they are the ones who generate the business. But at the same time, sometimes the clients that are coming in might not meet up with the vision of the company, and sometimes the company's vision might not meet up with the client's requirement. So we have to find a healthy balance in between, where you can you can probably help the company with their vision and also help the client with their requirements, and meet and have a middle ground where both are happy with what they are looking, if that makes
That's
sense. Yeah.
yeah, totally makes sense. Like it's totally important. Like whatever you have mentioned, it's totally required. So anybody who wanted to get a training from Radha, just go connect him, right? I'm going to mention his LinkedIn profile in my description. You can connect him, you can ask whatever you wanted to ask, right? So like I have also seen Radha, right? People are there who just wanted to get everything in just few months or something like that, right? As you mentioned that we have to invest so many times, and learning is a long-term process, right? You cannot be expert in lead generation or maybe negotiation. There's so many things, there's so many components which are very much crucial, right? You also mentioned about the client servicing and serving the client, right? So as you're working mostly out of the India clients, right? They are basically belongs to US and APAC region or something like that, right? They are not from India mostly. So how you started serving them, how you move out of India and started serving them, like what was the story behind that?
Right. So initially, when I started off, I started into BPO industry. I know that sales and operations and starting my own company was the ultimate goal. But because I didn't have a mentor, someone who is very close to me, I didn't have such a mentor to train me. So I started off into the BPO industry, and from there on, I when I started into the BPO industry, it was all international clients. So one time, through my one of my clients for the domestic client, so my company onboarded me to a domestic client, and I felt that there's a definite gap in between the international clients and the domestic clients. Nothing to say on the general confidence or the general attitude of the Indian users, but as customers, we tend to bargain a lot, and it doesn't and the way we communicate is very much different than the US and UK clients. When I say the way we communicate, the respect and the for lack of better words, the outright, I would say, the outright just saying something blunt on the face, just saying bad things on the phone itself. So these are all very common for us when we are working with the Indian clients. Not that it happened to me, but from my experience, most of my friends who have worked in the domestic experience face this, be it in sales or BPO background or whatever. Having said that, that's when I realized that this is not the place to be, and domestic is not where we can grow as a company. And it might not help my career in the long run. So I came back into the international experience. So from there, I understood the key points. So I started off cross-selling, upselling, and then I completely moved into sales. So first it was product-based sales, and then it was complete IT-based service selling. And I kicked off my career like 6 years, 7 years back with a very good company, and I had some good mentors, and that's where everything started falling into place. And eventually, it helped me in starting up my own company. But then again, there were some issues on the operations end, and again, it was a learning curve. I did my research, no mentors again. I did my research. I learned everything by myself and ran few things. And it was a good 1 year. So I started this company in the time of pandemic, and it ran well. And rather, I started this for my friends who were losing their jobs in the time of pandemic, so that everyone will have something. And I had a good clientele base. So it was a win-win situation for me and my friends. But that's not my cup of tea, at least not now, because there's still a lot more for me to learn before I can run an actual company, right? So I eventually moved out from the company and started again into another startup-based company called Clickers. And right now I'm the director of sales, and that's when we connected. So that's the life story in short. But yeah.
So many ups and downs, right? So you mentioned you have started your company, right? So what kind of attitude required, and what was your experience of, like while you have started, and what was your entrepreneurial journey, right? So as a you were like you wanted to cut your like hand and just wanted to die because there was so many frustration while running your own company. As a you were that as a
I would say the mistake that most people do, or rather the regrets that they have, is because they think themselves as a company like a Wipro or a Deloitte or whatever big names that are out there. Just like an enterprise company, they want to take an office, they want to do people's staff, but then there are no clients. So the first and foremost thing is for you to have clients. Dell started in a garage, and some other, and I'm sorry, Microsoft started in a garage, and some other big names out there have started in one rooms. So first, the thing that we need to understand is pandemic came. I know it's not a very good thing for most people. Pandemic with COVID-19, it affected the world a lot. But on a positive note, if you want to look at it, it made digital transformation go like this. It went very quickly, very rapidly. Everything went into the digital transformation mode. So everyone is taking video calls. Everyone is working from homes. We are connecting through metaverse. We are connecting with everyone on the cloud. So taking this opportunity into consideration, I thought, why not start the company where everyone can work from home and make the best of this? And that's where the idea came up from. And me being from an IT services company, I thought that I had good clients, so I thought I can start off the company. But again, it was the same challenge because I'm from my parents are from a police background, and we don't have one person who has worked in the IP, not even one person, not in my cousins, not anyone. So again, it was all a learning experience. Again, I started doing my research. I understood what are the things that needs to be, so we need to have an office, we need to have two directors, what is private limited, what is public limited, what is a one-person company, what are the compliances, what are the audits, all these things fell into place. I did my research, set everything up, and we started off. It was a slow first 1 2 months because my clients who were ready to give me the business in the first month itself backed off at the last second for whatever reasons. But they themselves, after constant and after constant follow-ups and some 100,000 calls, they came back, and we started off with one small project, and that opened doors to a whole new set of projects for us. And from a company of just 5 people at the beginning, including myself, not even 5 people, 3 people in the beginning, the employee size grew to 25 almost in the span of just 9 to 11 months. But eventually, I'm a people's person. I can't push people to keep doing that work. Why are you not doing that? So I cannot be rude. When I say rude, not that every CEO is rude or like that. Just that when I say I'm a people's person, I'm very bad at conflicts and all that. If there's a conflict, I will give a resolution. But if someone is facing me upfront and asking what is happening, I cannot say that you're doing wrong like this, right? Especially from a CEO position. And that's when I still need to grow. I still need to mature in terms of handling the leadership position, and I'm still not ready. And like I said, it was not my cup of tea, and I just moved out. But the clients that have come from me and which have been a part of my journey for the last 5 to 6 years are still with this company, and they're still giving clients. Even though this company doesn't have a very big presence, they don't even keep a digital presence. But just from the mouth of word, they keep generating so much of business. I feel very happy that when my the person who bought my company when I sold it off. So that person still keeps speaking to me. His name is Chandra. So he keeps speaking to me and says, Raja, why don't you, try to speak with some more people and get us some customers? And I keep telling, no, sir, I understand that, it's going good for you. He keeps praising me for whatever reasons. I mean, I'm not being very overconfident or anything like that, but he keeps giving me these praises and asking me to keep coming back. But I keep telling him, sir, I've been there, I've done that, so I'm good with it. So now it's yours. It's your baby. You take care of it. So I'm on something new. I'm on a new journey. So I'm starting my career again as a director of sales in a new startup-based company for which has just been around for 5 to 6 years. So I want to take up this challenge and keep growing into this role. So that's how it kept going. And the point here to be taken is when they came back and kept saying all these good things about our clients, that it's growing. It's such a happy feeling for myself that this is something which I have started, and it has grown to realize the employee size of 25 people and even more than that now, right? And this is all in the span of just 1 year. You know how much efforts are taken to increase the workforce in a company because they need that many clients to increase the workforce. So to answer your question, yes, definitely getting the US clients was a bit of challenge at the first, but I think the key here, the takeaway from this story that I just told you is that the consistency should be there. So the people, so you can send one awesome email one day and you don't follow up for, I don't know, maybe 10 days. And then you follow up after 10 days with one email and then you call them up. They will not answer you because they get like 1,000, we have like more than 1,000 vendors, 10,000 vendors in Hyderabad itself, and more than some crores companies in India. All over India, we have more than 1 crore of companies just as IT services vendor, and all of them are do keep calling into the same list of companies that are there in the US. So there's a gap in the supply and demand. So there are too many people to supply, but there's only few people for the demand part, like the clients, right?
Right.
So when you are sending an email, when you are making a call, what is your key pitch that you need to do? What is your USP? What is your unique selling point from your company? Or what is the cost advantage that you're going to give to your client? So few things that we need to keep in mind when you're speaking with the customers. And more than anything, consistency is the key. We're not supposed to get disappointed, especially you as a salesperson. And you should get into the call with the mindset that the other person, I mean, the other side of the call is also a person. So with our kind of training, with our kind of education system, we get so much into that scripted and robot mode that whenever we get a script from our supervisors in a company, the freshers, especially when they join in, they tend to follow that script just like that. And they keep forgetting that other side there's a person. So they ask one question, he answers something else. He will say only what he understood, he or she, whoever it might be, right? So
Right.
the point we need to realize is the other side is also a person who's speaking to us, and he might have a company business pain point, or he might have a problem himself. Connect with him on a personal level and then move into the business discussions. I know everyone keeps saying that we on a sales call generally, just in case most of you are not aware, we have less than a minute to create that interest to the customer for him to continue that conversation with us. So in that case, how you make that USP is all that will make difference. You follow a script, you're bound to fail. You follow your research, then you're bound to success. How? Because that's your consistency, your hard work, your research is the key for you to be a better salesperson.
That's nice. That's totally correct. Like while you are, describing all these things, I just figure out two, three major important points. Like the first thing is, like you mentioned about the referral, right? Word of mouth strategy, which is pretty much important. Even that works with me. Like client who are already there, they refer our product to someone else and they are, coming. And that is the best way to get any client because that is already tested and tried, right? You don't have to convince them because they are already somehow convinced with their references, right? And second,
Right.
you also talk about the follow. Yeah.
On this point, I'll just mention one thing. So you can also give them a reference saying that if they're coming through your reference, they will have a good discount on the product, or if it is a service, you can tell them that there'll be an added advantage or some extra goodies on top of the services that we are giving you, right? Something which will be beneficial to the customer and which will spark the interest of the customer. Depending on what industry you are in, that will make all the difference. But yeah, definitely mouth publicity is the way to go.
Right. And then one more thing you also mentioned about the, persistence and, having a strong follow-up of a cold mail and all, right? So as per you, like you have worked so many years, right? So as per you, what is the best way to onboard any client? Is it a cold mailing, cold calling, word of mouth? What is that? Like what you feel as per you, what is the best way to onboard any client?
At one point of time, cold emailing was the way to go. But given the digital presence these days and the number of vendors that we have in the market, cold calling and LinkedIn outreach is the absolute way to go. Mouth publicity or word of mouth is always there. So if you have clients, you can always keep calling them back, telling them, hey, how is it going? So don't directly jump into the main point that you're asking for a reference, but you just follow up with them in on how they are, what they're doing, and how is the company going and all that. And then you, at the end of the call, just before you finish your call, uh, you can just ask them if there are some references or if you can pass on some information who might have similar needs as the client himself. And we can probably add some cost advantages, discounts like I mentioned earlier, right? So that is definitely there. So mouth of word, definitely, yes, that's the way to go. But those will again become inbound leads because they're coming through a reference, right? If they're not our clients already, then if they're already our clients, I'm sorry, I'll just correct that. So if they're already our clients, they will become inbound leads. But if they're not our clients, then they can become a new lead for a salesperson, right? Having said that, just keeping mouth publicity aside, for a new US client, I would say the best way to reach these days is LinkedIn research or LinkedIn outreach and research, along with cold calling. So you send out a LinkedIn message, you have your premium sales navigator, whatever, you try to send a message to LinkedIn, and then send out an email after one day, and then you make a call them back, call until they pick up. Consistency is the key again. If the customer is irate, please excuse yourself, give him a second to collect himself, and then give a proper introduction of the company. Again, I do not say that following script is a bad thing. I would say keep the script in front of you, if just for you to have some quick reminder of your services which you have in the company or the information about your product just in front of you. Stick a paper, take the points from there. But when you're speaking with the customer, make it a candid conversation. Don't make it a scripted call. So just like how we are speaking now, it's all from the heart. We haven't scripted this, right? So just like that, the conversation needs to happen, just from the top of our mind and from the heart, and you personally connect with the customer, regardless of whether they give the business now or maybe 3 months from now. They will always remember you that you are a person who will stand on your words, and that whatever services you have, you will deliver. Whatever you're promising, you will deliver, right? So connecting with the client at that level is definitely the way to go. Having said that, some people might think we won't have that much time. It's only 1 minute. Again, it's the same thing which I mentioned earlier. Time is not the issue. The issue is you're not able to connect with the customer. Once you connect with the customer, that 1 minute becomes 10 minutes and even 30 minutes sometimes, depending on how well the conversation goes. So
Right.
this in the sales trend, not only in sales, maybe even in life. I mean, just a small philosophy here. In life, there's something which every person says: don't react. You take a second to think where it is going, proactively think the bigger picture, and then take a second, think and speak, right? So similarly in sales, the ultimate goal is always to close the deal and get the PO signed, getting the revenue into the company. So the realization time for the US clients is a little more, but you have to think at the bigger picture. And just because we have pressure, we can't keep pushing the clients into a quick call, even when they don't have anything. So you have to keep speaking with them regularly. You have to build that relationship. It's called prospecting. It's called nurturing. It's called growing the lead. So there are many terms for this, depending on what kind of methodology they follow. Uh, so if anyone has read this book called The Challenger Sales, they have a lot more information about the different types of sales, how it is nurtured, how we need to grow into it. So there are a lot of things that a salesperson can do, right?
Right.
It's not just a skill set that one person gets it from birth. Again, I think attitude and not giving up will make all the difference. And the word impossible should not be there in the vocabulary of the person. So they need to just keep thinking of ways to innovate, right? So there's also another way, another saying in English that when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere else to go. You only have to go up, right? So every call you're getting into, every call you're making, you should make absolutely sure that whatever the customer is throwing at you, we should be in a position to answer that. And that's how I know I'm taking a lot of screen time here, just training the things, but this is a way. I hope that this session we are doing will help at least one or two people, and that will make me all happy. Just because I could indirectly help at least one or two people, but that's the goal here, right?
Right, and even that is helping me. Like there's so many things which I'm learning while talking to you. There's so many things like like as you mentioned challenges. Like my last video was on challenges sales. Like that book, it's amazing. Like when I was reading, I just it blew my mind. Right, there's so many learning. There's so many things which anyone can implement in life while doing the sales. So now, like we are end of our entire conversation, right? Because there's so many things which we can keep talking and it will take years to find like ending the conversation, right? So now I just wanted to know what kind of regret you have in 12 years of working in sales and doing so many things. Do you have any kind of regret? Do you think that some decision was not good and that affected your life or something like that when you look back and connect the dot?
I would not say regret. So I would say probably a scenario which could have helped me out. That if I had someone who was in the IT background even before me, I could have learned things a lot more, and I would have been in this place, or at least the pace that I'm going at right now might have been a lot faster because I had a mentor or someone who could train me on what would be the right way to go. So I think that's the only thing. But from the business perspective, yes, definitely people will have regrets. I wouldn't say regrets. I would say there would be ups and downs. And ups are good, so we need to be humble at that time. Downs are also good. We need to take it as a learning point and keep growing from there. It's so the first mistake is not your mistake. I believe this, right? The first mistake is not your mistake. But if you're making the same mistake again, then it's your mistake. So if you have made a mistake, learn from it and don't repeat that mistake. I strongly believe in that, and I strongly tried not to repeat any mistakes. But again, it's life. Not everything is under our control. So we try to get life under our control, and life gets us under its control basically. But we have to do the best of the scenarios. And to answer your first question, which you said, people in the entrepreneur journey get so stressed, so freaked out, they cut their hands, they get suicidal tendencies and all that. So if you I wouldn't say anything wrong about the people who have done that, because they might have faced their own hardships and their own challenges, and it takes a lot of day to do that. But I wouldn't in any way promote such kind of tendencies or thoughts. The reason is because when you're starting a new journey, ups and downs are part of the life, and if you're not enjoying that part of ups and downs, that means for lack of better words, you are not fit to be an entrepreneur, or you're not fit to start that company, because we need to have fun. So when you're doing that, if you're not having fun, what is the point? If you're stressed out for every single thing and you're getting all these suicidal thoughts, tendencies, that's not the way to go, is what I believe. So God has given us a good life. We need to lead it in a good way for your parents who have brought you up, and for your kids that are gonna look up to you, right? So I would say that is the way to go, and never have any of these thoughts, because if you're not having fun, just sell it off, for whatever things you can do, just back off, take some time, collect your thoughts again. So we just need to be like a ball. Someone hits you, you just have to bounce back in the same equal level. It might take some time. Eventually, like for some people it's just like quickly in a day or two they are back up, but for some people it's 3 months, or for some people it's 3 years. The important thing is not to take it lying down. The important thing is to take it while standing up again, right? I would on that note, I would say that that would be my best advice and suggestion, to not have those thoughts and always look up, right?
Okay, that's totally like it's amazing that like whatever you have experienced and you are sharing with us, and there's so many things even I can feel and I can relate to you, right? So yeah, that happened with so many people. They have started something, right, and they were so much into that. They were working 24/7. They were mentally thinking about that product or that solution or doing that job. Like even they are internally dead and something bothering them, but still they are waking up and they are working on that idea, right? Oh, thank you so much for this wonderful advice. This is going to help so many people. Trust me, there are so many students, there are so many people who are just starting, going to text you and going to slide into your DM. So be ready for that. And
I will help
and
as much as people as I can. No worries there.
thank you so much for on behalf of all those viewers who are going to text you, right? And yeah, so on this particular, we are going to end this our podcast, right? Thank you so much, Radha, for joining. Thank you so much.
Probably one last thing before we finish this podcast. The
Sure.
people that I've trained so far, and on the sales front, They're all free batches. I don't take a penny or a rupee from anyone for training these people. It's just out of my own thought of helping out young people who want to shift into the IT sales, because most of them don't know where to start and how to start. So it's just out of my own for lack of better words, for my own happiness, I train them. I don't charge anyone anything. It's just out of my own pocket. So I'll give them all the best experience and my shared thoughts for them to grow into the position. And if someone gets a very good success, I'm always happy for them. And I just tell them to keep training other people when they get some time. So I hope that this will become a norm, and eventually every one in the villages and cities, and everyone should have that basic understanding of how to be a corporate person. That's my goal at the end of the day.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this and mention this point that this is totally free because now I guess numbers will be more higher. Because as we know, like student don't have that much of pocket money where that they can invest. Because there's so many people who are selling so many things, right? And there's so many things that they can do. But yeah, again, that should be in budgeted, right? That should be in their budget. Okay, so thank you so much, Raja. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad that I asked you to come on my platform and you accepted that invite. I'm glad, right?
And I'm glad you called me here. I hope this reaches to a lot number of people, and it at least helps a few people, and that will really give me some good satisfaction to my mind. So, yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much, Pratik, for inviting me over, and looking forward to our next connect. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. We are going to have one more, video very soon, maybe after some weeks. But yeah, definitely we are going to know so many things from you in future, right? Okay, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any kind of question, you can comment down below, and you can reach out to Raja or me on my LinkedIn, right? And don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. And if you wanted to ask something else, or if you wanted to join that free SaaS training from Raja, just feel free to reach out to him. He will definitely going to help you. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.